Hello everyone, welcome to Hearty Wines, a podcast where we talk Dil Se. Australia, country we all love, country of opportunities and equality, country where migrants with diverse background come here to shape up their life. Today on Hearty Wines, we have our special guest whose focus on intersectionality of resettlement stressors by investing in multiple service delivery strategies while ensuring that prevention and early intervention design and delivery programs are responsive to the unique strengths and needs of diverse communities. Let's please welcome girl from Mumbai, our own Melissa Monteiro, to Hearty Wines today. Melissa, she's CEO of Community Migrant Resource Center. She's got a bachelor and master's degree in social work. Melissa has extensive experience of over about 27 years within the community sector. With far-reaching experience in the community not-for-profit sector, she is well versed in building relationships and managing diverse stakeholders, including government, for mutually beneficial outcomes. Based in Western Sydney, Melissa Country manages a multi-disciplinary, medium-sized, not-for-profit across a large portfolio, including child protection, settlement services, women, families, domestic violence, youth, and business services in NSW. She has won multiple awards and recognition for her work. Let's please hear it out on Hearty Wines what she's got to recommend for the migrants, for the native Australians for migrants, and people who aspire to come to Australia. Let's talk to her today. Hello Melissa ji, thank you so much for being here with us and our audience at Hearty Wines today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to share my story and my journey with you.
Fantastic. So Melissa ji, why don't you shed some light on your background and especially what brought you to the community sector?
Thank you so much for this question. It is more than 35 years now that I have been in community services and the community sector. I started my journey very young, at a very young age, when I was about 8 years old. So one of the things that was motivation for me at the time was watching my own father. My father was in the Indian Navy in India.
Okay.
After retirement, he got a job with a international aid company that was giving food and wheat and oil and sugar to poor states, tribal states in Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha. And every month when he came back, he used to tell us a story about how he used to help people in those areas. There were people who didn't have anything else. And what moved me after school, what I used to go to help to feed them, and what moved me was that people who had nothing were the most happiest people. They had smiles on their face. And the people who looked after them were equally caring for them. All through this time, Sachin, I was working with the very disadvantaged communities, with women, with Mahila Mandals, in communities, in Bimwadi or different places in India, in Mumbai rather. I did a research those years with 750 fishermen. That time the government was building Asia's largest port. So I did a social impact study. At the time, research is very important, and I think all of us in the social space should do more research because it's evidence-based. My student placement was in Matipura, red light area in Mumbai, but I was a student.
Sure.
And all these years helped me to understand systems better.
What is that one thing, very important one thing, which most of these marginalized, underprivileged people would expect from somebody who's going to be there to help them out? One important thing which they expect from people there to help them.
I think authenticity and genuineness
Genuineness.
go together.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of people that are committed and want to help.
Right.
But the authenticity is sometimes lacking in people, and you may want to do it, but you have to go the extra mile in order to be able to actually deliver. Because otherwise, I'll be just like anybody else,
Right.
and you cannot make a difference if it doesn't come from your heart. And people know and can see that very easily. It's not hard to figure out whether this person is genuine and wanting to make a difference in their lives and help them, or whether they're in it for other reasons.
Absolutely. And I think this brings in very important point. As much as people would want to do charity and help them, I think it is equally important to make sure that the other side is also equally comfortable and not being exposed. So Melissa, you've spoken about a couple of good things, your team, yourself been doing here in Australia for last so many years now. What does a diversity in Australia looks like?
Diversity in Australia is over 50% now.
Okay.
So if you were to look at anywhere in Australia, we've got people from various migrant backgrounds, and diversity has been growing steadily over the last 5, 10 to 15 years. Australia is seeking skilled migrants and skilled migration. Under the skilled migration program alone, over 100,000 people are coming in at any given time. People are coming in as skilled migrants. There is a benefit for skilled migrants to our country. When people come in from various backgrounds, diverse backgrounds, there is a benefit to Australia because they're contributing to the economy of our country. But then I also see there is a benefit for those migrants that are coming in because they have a better quality of life, they have more opportunities in Australia. Diversity in Australia is now at its peak, I would say, where you have more than 60, 70 different, maybe even more than that, communities from so many different countries that are coming in here. We are allowed, we can speak in our own languages, you can follow your own culture, you can follow your own religion.
Right.
That's the beauty of diversity. And that's why we are called multicultural Australia. And that's something that I'm so proud of. And that is what my organization is working towards, a multicultural Australia, that our communities are integrated and settled well, and we are one with other Australians. That is the aim of the government in wanting to support migrants and refugee communities, people who are new, to become one, and there are equal opportunities for us all. That's the beauty of diversity.
Sure. So Melissa, what is that one point I just wanted to understand, especially CMRC would be concentrating upon for the migrants, in order to have them accommodate here in a multicultural Australia. One thing what they are not, I would say taught, but what they should be mindful about, we guide them through, just to make sure that they are accommodated well here.
One of the most important factors is for people to understand the laws of this land. When they come into a new country, this land is called, for me, I refer to it very often, I just call it the land of milk and honey. But it's very important in that land of milk and honey to be able to respect the laws of this land, to integrate with the wider community, to practice your own culture, religion, beliefs, etc., but to respect the laws and to focus on the laws of this land. Very, very important to do it right. Also, to reach out, and I say this all the time to a lot of communities, is reach out and to know your neighbor, to have the confidence and to believe that you are contributing equally just like any other person in this country. We should not be insular, and we should not only look at my own community, or from an Indian perspective, it shouldn't just be with the Indian or the Indian subcontinent. It shouldn't just be India, Sri Lanka, Bangla, Pakistan, etc. It should be other communities. At the CMRC, we work with over 40 different communities. At any given time, we have staff that are bilingual and speak 45 different languages at any given time.
Sure.
So that's the message for any new arrival to Australia.
So, Manisha ji, we've spoken about all the work, and I think it's very intriguing and very important for our migrant strata also to hear it out. What's your recommendation for people who aspire to migrate to Australia? And I'm sure there are many of them from many countries. You said 40 countries, and I'm sure there are more. What's your recommendations for them?
For people who are aspiring and want to come to Australia, as I call it, the land of milk and honey, there are many things that you might want to consider before you come to this country. One is that obviously you have to have your skills and your qualifications intact. Two is that you want to be prepared for what it means to live and work in Australia. The journey may not always be easy. Finding a house is not always easy. Depends where you go, in which part in Australia you are going to settle in. You would have to be able to buy a house in Australia, or in the initial years you would have to rent a house. Finding a job is not always easy. It has to be something in the line on which you have studied in. So you need to be prepared and do a bit of research in the area that you have studied in, the area that you have worked in. Then you will be able to get a job more easier. Some of the simple tips that I would say for people who are aspiring is to prepare on your basic interview skills. Very important to be able to look people in the eye for an interview, to communicate clearly what your skills and what your products are and what you have to offer to that job interview or to that organization that you are seeking to get a job in. Because it is not always easy, and you have to be practiced in this area. Practice and make it perfect. As they say, practice makes it perfect. In the area of finance, budgeting, you would have to know that Australia is an expensive country to live in. Do you have the initial, if you come as a skilled migrant, the first 2 years, there is no assistance. You have to budget in such a way that you know you can pay for your food, pay for your accommodation, pay for your education, children's education, travel, transport, health. So when you look at all of these things together, make an informed decision is what I would say.
What's your recommendation for the residents in Australia, towards the migrants,
I have very simple recommendations. One is to open your heart and support the people that are new to this country, because that's the very critical time when people are new. The whole journey for them is a hard journey, and you can help them to make that life easy. Reach out to people, open your heart, be warm and welcoming, and don't just think that nobody helped you, so you're not going to help another. But be a blessing to somebody who is new to this country. But sometimes a warm word, a welcoming gesture, sometimes you can just reach out to people in smaller things that will help them to settle here more easily.
Melissa ji, we would also want to hear your recommendations for, there are many community services groups, agencies, institutes who love to work for the migrants. Some of them work for their specific countries or the communities. What's your recommendations for them, for most of these community services agencies around?
Firstly, you need to understand that having an organization in Australia is very, very regulated. You need to have good paperwork in the organization. You have to be able to have a good, sound, solid vision and mission statement. You need to have clear-cut objectives. You need to know the purpose. You may just have the passion all the time, but you may have to have areas in which you actually clearly articulate the why. Why are you doing what you are doing? Because I've seen hundreds of organizations, hundreds of individuals just wanting to get into this charity space. It is not a charity space for you to just go and to meet your own agenda. It is for meeting the needs of other people. If you are getting into community services and to the community sector, It is about them, it is not about you. So follow and understand what it means to establishing an organization here, working in the community, not-for-profit sector. Study a bit, research a bit, talk to people who know, and go that way.
What does Girl from Mumbai has to say heart to its audience at Hearty Wines?
My message to everyone who is watching this, firstly, is to work in collaboration with other people, other agencies, other networks. There is a whole world around you. You are not and never alone. And it's very important to keep this basic principle in mind at all times, is to work cooperatively, work collaboratively, and work in partnership with people. This should be your mantra at all times. When we work together, there are efficiencies. Financially, it will help out as well. It is cost saving. It is more impact. The work that you are doing has a bigger impact if you have more partners and if you are doing this in partnership with other people. Once again, it's not about you, it's about getting the best outcomes for the work that you are doing, for the purpose that you have, for the passion that you're driven by. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you go along, but it's not about you, it's working in partnership with people. For people who have come here, for migrant communities, now is the time for you to give back. And when I say give back to this country that has given so generously to you. I wear other hats, I'm on other boards, and I'm all the time trying to give back to community. It's not about getting an award, it's not about a photo, it's not about myself, it's about other people. That should be your objective, your family objective. Teach your children those values, that other people matter. To people who have come recently is feel confident that this is your country. You are an equal person in this country, and make use of every opportunity that this country has to offer you. Reach out to people, seek help. There are organizations that can be there for you to help you. Reach out to people, and I'm sure you will have a great stay here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Melissa ji, for your heart-to-heart message on Hearty Wines. One last question. How is that the volunteers who are wanting to contribute to the society, to the community, how they can reach out to you?
Volunteers, we have a website, and people can go into www.cmrc.com.au and reach out to us. We do have a certain number of volunteers that we can take in every year, but we are happy to have more people. If you do your research in your local government, local councils, every local council has a volunteer list, and you can reach out to your volunteer coordinators in your local government, in your local council, and they'd be only too happy to have you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much once again, and sparing time and talking to us, our audience on Hearty Wines. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you for having me. And I'd like to remind everybody who is watching this, if you do get the opportunity, please look up The Girl from Mumbai. That is my own migrant story, and I'm sure you will find it very rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you so much.
For Hearty Wines, I just want to say a very big congratulations first for this initiative. It is a fabulous initiative, Sachin, for what you're doing with Hearty Wines, for reaching out through a platform like this, reaching out to communities far and wide on the net. For everybody who does come across this platform, it will be great if you like and if you share it with your colleagues and friends and community. To Sachin, I just want to say it's very, very inspiring to see what he is doing in his off time, beyond the work that he is doing, beyond his employment. As a hobby, he has set up this initiative, and I think it is very, very rewarding for him to be able to do something like this, but more inspiring for others who are watching this. And so I just want to say thank you to Hearty Wines for this great opportunity to share my own story. Thank you and best wishes to you. This is a start of your Hearty Wines, the initial phase of your establishment of this Hearty Wines initiative, and I wish you prosperity and many, many more years of abundance and blessings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you.